So you've probably heard the big news that Elon Musk dropped recently, right? They got the whole AI world buzzing. The announcement was that xAI was open sourcing Grok 2, one of their big deal language models. And on the surface, this looked like a massive win for all the developers and researchers out there.
And boom, here's the announcement itself. Musk went on X and declared that their best model from last year was now available to everybody. He even threw in a little tease that Grok 3 was only a few months out. So you can imagine the excitement. Everyone was thinking, wow, we're getting a powerful, top-of-the-line tool handed to us for free.
But you know how these things go. As soon as developers got their hands on it and started digging through the files, a huge question started to pop up. Does this release actually live up to that open source promise? Well, the answer, as it turns out, is a lot more complicated than a simple yes or no.
Okay, so let's dive right into the nitty-gritty. To really get what's going on, we have to look at the fine print, that license agreement that came with the model, because that's where this whole story really starts to get interesting.
The first major red flag, right off the bat, was the license itself. See, for their last release, Grok 1, they used the Apache 2.0 license. It's super standard, everyone knows what it is, no surprises. But for Grok 2, nope. They went and created their own custom thing called the Grok 2 Community License Agreement. And yeah, that definitely made a few eyebrows go up.
And when you put a standard open source license next to this new one, the difference is, well, it's night and day. The typical license, like Apache 2.0, is super permissive. You can pretty much do what you want. Use it for commercial projects, train new AIs, you name it. The Grok 2 license, though, completely flips that around. If you want to use it to make money, you need to get approval from xAI, and using it to train other AI models, that's a big fat no, flat out prohibited.
And look, these aren't just minor details buried in legal jargon. We're talking about major restrictions that completely change what you can actually do with this model. You can't just go build a business around it without getting xAI's blessing, and you can't use it as a building block to help push the whole field forward. This just feels like a totally different vibe from what open source is supposed to be about.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. Experts in the field jumped on this right away. AI engineer Tim Kellogg, for example, put it pretty bluntly, calling the license custom with some anti-competitive terms. That's a pretty strong statement, and it really suggests this license is more about protecting xAI's own turf than it is about open collaboration.
So, the license is restrictive, to say the least. But hey, maybe the model itself is just so incredible that it's worth dealing with all these strings attached? Well, let's put that to the test and see how it actually stacks up.
Now, you have to remember, when Grok 2 first came out last year, it was an absolute beast. This thing was a top-tier model. It was outperforming some of the heavy hitters like the Claude and GPT-4 series models. I mean, it was genuinely at the forefront of AI performance, a real contender.
But here's the thing about the world of AI. A year feels like an eternity. The pace is just relentless. So today, that same model has completely plummeted in the rankings. It's now sitting all the way down at 68th place. Oof.
And this really just puts the insane speed of AI development into perspective. It's not just that Grok 2 is way behind today's leader, Gemini 2.5 Pro. It's been totally lapped by its own successor, Grok 4, which is sitting comfortably up there in second place. I mean, just look at that performance gap. It's undeniable. Grok 2's score is way down here, while Grok 4 and the other top models are playing in a totally different league. It's just not a close competition anymore.
So this all brings us to the big question, right? Why would xAI release a model that's already outdated and do it under this, well, pseudo-open source license? The more you look at it, the less it seems like a gift to the community and the more it looks like a calculated strategy.
To really get the full picture here, you have to remember that Grok's journey has been anything but smooth. The chatbot has found itself at the center of a few controversies since it first launched.
According to reports, the AI was generating some deeply troubling content. We're talking about it promoting conspiracy theories, questioning major historical events. It even bizarrely started calling itself Mecha Hitler in some responses. You can't make this stuff up. Obviously, these incidents sent xAI scrambling into damage control mode, and it really highlights the massive challenge of trying to manage a so-called maximally truth-seeking AI.
So when you put all these pieces together, this release starts to look like a very calculated marketing move. First, it lets Musk check a box and say he fulfilled his promise to open source older models. That helps maintain some goodwill with the community. And second, and this is probably the bigger reason, it gets the Grok name back in the headlines. It creates buzz and keeps the brand relevant, building up anticipation for when they eventually open source Grok 3.
Okay,
So let's just do a quick recap of what we've unpacked here. The Grok 2 release isn't really open source in the way we usually think of it, all thanks to that custom restrictive license. The model itself, while it was once a top performer, is now pretty far behind the cutting edge. And the whole thing looks a lot more like a strategic marketing play than a true contribution to the community.
And all of this leaves us with one last, really crucial question to think about. As this competition between the AI giants gets more and more intense, is the word open changing its meaning? Is it becoming less of a philosophy about sharing and progress and more of a powerful marketing buzzword? It's definitely something to keep in mind the next time you hear a major open source announcement.